Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is Haki, and today we're going to be covering the best Persona trees after the July 2026 Persona update. There are a lot of good options now after the changes, and I'll be teaching you guys which ones are definitely worth an auto run, and which ones are more situational than you might think. But first guys, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you like these kinds of guides. It helps out the channel a lot, and it helps get these videos out to more people. With that being said, let's get started. To help you guys better understand how I built these personas, let's first go over some of the main persona abilities you should be considering after the update. Starting with the best one, Attachment Effect. Basically, Attachment Effect does two things. It lets you heal survivors 10% quicker, but it also only requires you to heal survivors up to 80%. And after that, they'll heal on their own in the next 10 seconds. While on its own, it's nothing game saving. If everyone does their part and runs this, the total time saved on heal goes anywhere from 5 seconds to 20 seconds and maybe even more. It makes healing way more viable and more time efficient for games where someone kited 3 ciphers, and a game saver for matches where teammates took early hits and you're looking to secure a tie. The time it saves is comparable to max doctor or max healing, yet it's way cheaper in points, so definitely all your survivors should be using this. Next one I want to highlight is Emergency Reserves. This persona makes it so you only need to take 2 seconds to open chests after your main ability runs out. What makes this perk so good is the time you spend versus the time you gain. If you get something like an elbow pad or a football, the time you'll get from a kite is going to be significantly longer than the 2 seconds it took you to open a chest, resulting in a net positive of time wasted opening a chest compared to how long of the hunter's time you waste. It also makes you safer and able to play more aggressive on ciphers without risking a down. The sooner you can get done opening the chest to keep yourself alive, the sooner you can push ciphers as a team. Even if you get something bad like an illusion or perfume, you lose basically nothing trying the chest, and even these items, if well timed and against the right hunter, can buy more time for your team. This is another perk that's pretty much auto run on any survivor with a finite amount of abilities. Some honorable mentions I'd like to give are to Well Earned and Mutual Support. Before I talk highly of Well Earned though, I do want to say that in my opinion, this perk gets rated higher than deserved, and dare I say this is overrated. Consider this. If you know the hunter is walking near your cipher, then playing slow, safe, and patient by getting off of it and giving your teammates time to heal, maybe search chests, do an extra cipher, or even set up bad exit gates is almost always better than rushing to pop the cipher in the hunter's face and risking your entire game. 4 seconds of the bubble is not enough time to guarantee you won't die in the next 20 for the gates to be ready. Because of all the benefits to playing slow and the downsides to rushing, there's rarely a reason to rush a cipher. But what I will say about it is sometimes you have no choice but to rush it, and that's where Well Earned is helpful. Even if the bubble isn't helping you stay alive, the speed boost it gives helps walking from cipher to cipher in the early game. More importantly, the extra 25% speed boost can be key if the hunter is approaching your cipher machine at 99%. And at the end of the day, it is only 5 points. Generally, smart hunters won't approach ciphers that are already primed. They should know when it's ready and just stall for their traits and abilities. That's why Well Earned rarely will give value against smart hunters. But they can't know the progress perfectly all the time, every game. So every once in a while, it can help save your life when they try to stop your cipher. We'll be running it wherever we have space for it. The other persona that I feel is quite strong is Mutual Support. You'd be surprised just how often this trait is helping you move faster to keep places like cipher machines and exit gates that injured teammates are standing at. Over the course of the game, this helps save a lot of time running, even if your goal isn't to heal in the first place. The reason it's just getting an honorable mention is because you anyway have to pick it up in order to get Attachment Effect. But it makes way more of a difference than people realize and makes Attachment Effect worth even more to pick up. Now that that's out of the way, let's go over some general builds. Remember that when building your persona builds, the point is to be as versatile and cover as many weaknesses or situations where your team might be in trouble that your persona can help remedy or save a lot of time in. And that's how I structured all these builds. Starting with the general Broken Windows build, this is for any survivor who has a limited number of abilities. We're of course running Broken Windows and Borrowed Time for strong kite and endgame potential, but on the side we're also running Attachment Effect, which is great for games where teammates are taking hits quickly, Emergency Reserves for consistently maintaining safety even when hunters get your items out, Companion Effect to help for rebounds, which is crucial for chairs near important pallets like in Graveyard Pallet or Shack Pallet, and finally, Well Earned, since I had nowhere else to spend the 5 points, and it's better than everything else we can use. If you are looking at the build and wondering, Psyche, why not run stuff like Brewing Effect? The answer is because we already use all 130 points. If you want to add something, you'll need to take away something, and I feel every trait that we have here will be more game saving than anything else you can run. Remember that this is just my recommended build to help you get started, and if you're not sure where to begin. And over time, you can form an opinion on what works for you and what doesn't. But at the very least, I recommend you run Attachment Effect on all your builds. In the case that you want to run Broken Windows on a survivor with infinite abilities, then now you don't need emergency reserves and can use something else. For survivors who focus a lot on palette stunning like Novelist, Prisoner, and Enchantress, Great Power is a must, and so your build will look like this. If you're not playing one of those three but still have infinite abilities like Matador, you have options with your last 15 points, like running one stack on Doctor. But personally, I'm still going with the palette stun trait since long palette stuns can be definitely a game changer. Next, the Flywheel build for survivors with limited abilities. Since the Flywheel build doesn't automatically go left, there is a lot more room for argument about what things you should run after Flywheel and Borrowed Time. Attachment Effect is still a must for making ties and wins way easier, but after that, some important traits to look at are up to debate. The main ones you should be considering are Companion Effect for a rebound, Emergency Reserves for a huge time save and provides a safety net, Horsefly Effect since 20% faster drop speed really adds up over time, and Well Earned is a nice bonus. But unfortunately, you can't run all four of these, only three, so you'll need to make a sacrifice. On top of that, choosing Companion Effect and Emergency Reserves means you can only go one time into Horsefly. So if you want to run max Horsefly, you'll need to sacrifice either Companion Effect or Emergency Reserves. However, I feel 8% Horsefly is fine, and that the other two traits are just more important. Survivors with infinite abilities, you can take off Emergency Reserves and run 2 more stacks in Horsefly, and the last 5 points can go into Well Earned. Survivors who focus a lot on palette stuns, as mentioned before, should take off Emergency Reserves and use the 15 points on 2 levels of Great Power instead. Finally, we have the Tide Turner build. Now, just to be cleared, the build I'm showing here is for strong rescuers with strong kiting potential, like a Gravekeeper, Mercenary, and First Officer. These survivors will rarely be chased, and if they do, you should easily be able to kite with good routes in just your normal abilities. So I will not be running Horsefly Effect or Companion Effect. That being said, if you're not confident in kiting, then there is no shame in adding some Horsefly Effect, and I will discuss what you can take out to have Horsefly in your build. Back to the build, Symbiotic Effect is great for helping to rescue off of any chair, no matter where you go or how far the survivor is. Of course, Attachment Effect and Emergency Reserves are there to save time, and I'd like to give an honorable mention to Empathy here as well. Since you're already going both top right and bottom left, it's your choice whether you want to use Empathy or Symbiotic Effect. Empathy is better for times when you need to start rescuing as soon as someone goes down, while Symbiotic Effect allows you to keep decoding and still get value from its boost even if you don't go immediately. I'll be making a deep dive video on the benefits between both of these, but overall Symbiotic Effect is better assuming you take good rescue routes and are banning the S tier hunters. Finally, since you won't be getting chased often and since the healing persona got nerfed to the ground, running the Doctor persona is going to be great. This combined with Attachment Effect makes you essentially a secondary healer, which is huge considering you're the least likely to be chased and gives your team more value than just rescuing. However, if say you're playing someone with Tide who is likely to be chased, such as Patient, or Coordinator, or Journalist, and you're not confident in kiting with the strong rescuers, then you can take off Doctor and Sneak and run 2 stacks in Horsefly Effect. Like I said, there's no shame in it. Doctor is technically not necessary, and Horsefly Effect is a good way to put on some training wheels if you're looking to get better at kiting with rescuers. Once you're comfortable though, I highly recommend picking up Doctor on your Persona build. It's a huge time save worth looking into. For any rare wildling players out there, you can take off Emergency Reserves and put the point on Empathy so you can have double rescue ability since he really needs it due to his slow speed. One last Persona build, this one is going to be specifically for Doctor. Doctor right now is one of the strongest survivors in the game, but is heavily dependent on her Persona build. So let's make sure you guys are using the right one. For her, you can use either Broken Windows or Flywheel, it's really your choice. Just make sure you're running specifically 2 perks, which is Max Doctor and Max Touch Effect. Touch Effect is great mid-kite on Doctor, and it's especially strong when you prime a heal at 99%, so that when a chase starts, you can pop the heal and get a free 40% speed boost for 4.5 seconds before the chase starts. Unfortunately, you can't use Flywheel without either taking off a point in healing or Touch Effect, so keep that in mind if you choose Flywheel. If you had to pick a build, I'd go Broken Windows since you can keep Max on both and still have Horsefly Effect on your build too. Those are all of the major Persona builds worth talking about. To recap, we have the Broken Windows build with Emergency Reserves, the Broken Windows build without Emergency Reserves, and instead opting for Palette Stun for the key palette stunning survivors. Next, we have the Flywheel build focused on emergency reserves, the Flywheel build that takes off emergency reserves for Horsefly, and the Flywheel build that takes off emergency reserves for pallet stun on those pallet stunning survivors. For Rescuer, we have the Tide build with Doctor and the Tide build that takes off Doctor for Horsefly. Between these 7 builds, almost every survivor is covered, and there are plenty of options for everyone, no matter your preferred survivor or style of kiting abilities. With that being said, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, once again, make sure to like it and subscribe if you're new around here to join the Green Hooded crew. With that being said, guys, I will see you guys later and take care. This has been Psyche.